So we're currently going to be on Cracked.io, another site similar to Node. Basically, these are black hat forums. You can always take a look at them. They always have a bunch of stuff on there. And I'm basically more focused on the disputes on deals that don't go down well. And we're going to start out with this one. The seller, the buyer, this is more of the buyer wants rather than the seller service, where you basically have WTB, which basically means want to buy. So in this case, he wants to buy a paid account on Exploring Topics. And for those that are wondering, this is basically a trend site, and he wants to basically get an account to use for this, which is about $100 a year, and they offer $1 for 2 weeks. So to set the stage, the account being banned here is basically over $1, right? So you basically ask for $10 for the account, and basically the buyer finds the seller finds the buyer, and then basically he summarizes it. I contacted him via Telegram in response to his post in my thread. I asked him how much an account would be. He said $10. I asked him if he takes XMR, which is Monero, and he said yes. And for those of you wondering why Monero, basically Monero is one of the OG coins that are basically anonymous transactions, as in true anonymous transactions, where it's untraceable, according to Monero. And if you look at it, it kind of is compared to something like Bitcoin or Ethereum, where they all can be tracked to an address, versus Monero, which you can actually send fully anonymized transactions. So he did send the Monero, which is about 0.07 at the time of the transaction. And then he said that it was going to cost $100, which it technically is, even though you can just get a free trial for like $1 for 2 weeks, which I'm just like, if I wanted to get a paid account for something, I would go for something that is more expensive than $1 for 2 weeks. But I don't know what this guy, Wolf Green, is going to be doing. So he says that it's going to cost him more than that, 0.63 Monero, which is about 10 times more the cost, which is $100. This is an example of what I'm talking about, where if the seller is not professional enough to understand basic math, you would basically back out of the deal, right? So this guy literally says, so the seller is saying, I'm sorry, not $10, but $100, because that's how much the account costs anyways. You know what I mean? So the point of these threads of buying an account is to get it for a very low cost. So in this case, he, instead of paying $100, you only have to pay $10, for instance. So the seller is saying, no, it's going to cost $100, even though it's $100. So basically, it's 1-to-1, and it's an account that you don't even own. So the only time you would ever need to do this is if you are banned from this site and you can no longer use an account on there for some reason. So it absolutely makes no sense to risk going on a black hat forum and paying the same price you could just be paying on your own, except in crypto. Maybe that's probably why as well. That could make sense. But in this case, it doesn't make sense. You usually want to get a deal. And this is the seller who has 18 likes, just joined recently. And he says, I can provide account now. Please close the dispute. Then the response from literally yesterday, he has not provided the account. He continues to try and get more money from me. So let's take a look real quick. I see you replied to my post. Please provide the account details. Yes, I bought the account for you, but the cost is $25. If you need the account, you need to pay $15 more as you pay $10. You need the account, and then he says, just refund the money to the address I provided. You misstated the amount initially. I will take you at your word that it was an accident, so simply send the money back. You persist in trying to get more money from me. This is scammy. Yeah, which is true. Basically, it's like a whole strategy, trying to get extra money. But, as a seller, you should just take the loss, give the money back, and move on. It's $10, $15. It's not a big deal. And then Liars, this guy is basically one of the moderators, just like Lucas on Node, is Liars, and another guy named Darkness. Those are the two moderators that monitor the scam reports and disputes. So basically, to provide a refund, which makes sense, the buyer gives you the money, give it back. And then it says, again, trying to get more money. I unblocked him after reading Liar's post above so he can send account details if he chooses that path. But I'm done with this discussion. It's either an account, a refund, or writing this off as a scam. So this is a continuation. I'm not scamming. You don't want to believe. You just need to clear the remaining payment of $15 so you can use the account without any problems. I don't know why you're afraid of paying me half. Because you stated the price and changed after the fact. So yeah, you can't really do that as a seller. Either you take the loss or you give the money back or just move on, But some people are just very hard-headed and don't want to do that. If you pay 15, you can easily get the account. If you don't and get afraid, then you have your own loss. Well, unfortunately, you have been banned, Matthew, and that's the end of that. So the lesson is, if you are a seller, you messed up, just do what you gotta do and just keep your account afloat, right? That's the point. Or you could just be a dickhead and just absolutely lose everything, and now you're banned from this forum, and your business, potential businesses, shady or not, are gone.